And in episode 82, I talk about how the Democrat, especially the progressive wing with the Democrat Party, is all about victimhood and is trapped in identity politics. This victimhood mentality that they have, this hierarchy where the more you are a victim, the more you are rewarded. And this is used as like a counter to privilege. You'll hear all the time about white privilege. If you are white, you grew up with privilege in this country. I have another episode about privilege. So many episodes about these topics. Please go back and listen to them or watch them. But what it says, if you're white in this country, especially if you're like white middle class or upper middle class, whatever, you have so much white privilege. Now, if you are not white in this country, then you did not have these privileges. So a way to counteract the white privilege is to have victimhood privileges. Again, to be rewarded for your victimhood. And you're just continuing to climb up this totem pole, this hierarchy, this ladder to get up to the top the best that you can, which again is part of that bad method where it is a common enemy, me against someone else. And that, I believe, is where we find these white progressives that are joining in these protests against Israel, that are in support of Palestine, and especially those that are in support of Hamas. What I believe is happening here is that these white progressives are caught up in their fealty to the Lord of victimhood. And right now there is something going on of this intersectionality where they are trapped. This intersectionality trapped is this ranking of the identities. Okay, so Muslims in the world are about 2 billion people. 2 billion people. Israel, far less than that. So you go back to, the victimhood mentality, that would put Jews as a minority. However, move over to America, where you and I live, and it is Muslims who are in the minority. Muslims are now in the minority, not Jews. There are millions of Jews in the United States. Many are in New York. There are more Jews in New York City than there are in Tel Aviv in Israel. Many are in South Florida. Many are in Southern California, spread all over these large metropolises in the United States. But now that we are in America, again, Jews are more in the minority. Muslims are in the minority. So it's flipped. So now the Muslims are a minority, and then Palestinians, an even smaller group, they are definitely in the minority. So this ranking is going on, and what these protesters believe, these white progressive protesters, what they believe is that Israel is in the wrong because Israel is not seen as the victim here. They are not in the minority. They are seen as in the majority and as colonizers. Protesters believe that Israel is a colonizer, that they colonized Palestine despite all the history of what has taken place in that area of the world, in that region. There have been multiple wars there that have impacted the size of Israel and the size of Palestine and the area they have. There are Palestinians in the West Bank, which is Israel and Jordan. There are Palestinians in the Gaza Strip, as we know from this attack, and that is where Hamas is located. There are Palestinians in Israel. In Israel, about 20% of Israel's population are Arabs, are Muslims, Palestinians living in Israel. So the protesters, again, they believe that Israel is a colonizer, that they colonized Palestine, and you'll hear this if you haven't heard already, Gaza is an apartheid state, which again, it goes back to racism, and because of race, a population is confined to a certain region because of their race. So you've heard time and time again, an apartheid state. And there is this map, this visual that has been shared millions upon millions of times across Instagram, across X, across all other different social media platforms, probably Facebook, that has a timeline going back, I believe, to like 1920s or 48 when Israel was 1948, when Israel was became a country, became a state. And you just see the green like shrinking as this timeline goes to present day. And the green is representative of Palestinians and their territory there in that area, and how it just continues to shrink. That has been shared again millions of times as evidence that Israel is the one who is oppressing Palestinians. Hi, I'm Brian Kletter, the creator and host of the Counterthought podcast. Thank you for watching this video. Remember to like it, and then also check out these 2 videos and subscribe to the channel. For more daily content from me, you can find me on Instagram at Counterthought CEO and the official Counterthought Instagram page at counter_thought. Thank you for watching, and spread the word.